Of course, now we are going with the NSAIDs and DMRDs, and of course the biological agents have come into the market now. Though they are expensive, they are very effective. And this, my talk would be on the disease burden, pathophysiology, current options and their limitations, role of a novel anti-inflammatory agent. So as you all know, this is a systemic disorder characterized by chronic inflammatory polyarthritis of unknown etiology. Inflammatory state also involves skin, eyes, lungs and blood vessels, fluctuating clinical course and unpredictable prognosis, associated with 60% increase in the risk of cardiovascular related death and complex and multifactorial pathogenesis. And pathophysiology, everybody knows that it is the activation of the macrophages by antigen presenting cells and T cells. The release of the inflammatory mediators, the TNF-alpha and the interleukin-1. These leads to synovitis and production of collagenase, leads to destruction of extracellular matrix, and this release of matrix metalloproteinases leads to cartilage degradation. Of course, we don't see much of this disease burden in our India, but still we see very often we are seeing many cases now. And this OA also, earlier it was thought to be only degenerative arthritis, but now they have found out some inflammatory mediators also in osteoarthritis. Now in no more a degenerative process, it is also like OA, RA, it is also. Some inflammatory mediators are also there in osteoarthritis, though it also needs this anti-inflammatory treatment now. This is all the major cytokines involved in the pathogenesis of OA. Apart from alpha TNA alpha and interleukin-1, elevated other interleukin-6, 17 and MMPs are also shown to be implicated in OA. These ultimately leads to synovitis and articular cartilage damage. In fact, OA is defined as a disease of the cartilage, whereas RA is more it is a synovitis, more of a synovitis, but OA is more of a cartilage disorder. So the TNF-alpha and interleukin are the major inflammatory cytokines involved in RA as well as OA. Release of these inflammatory cytokines are regulated by nuclear factor kappa B. This is called NF-kB. This is present in a transcription factor present in all cells. It plays an essential role in inflammatory and immune responses. And this is a master switch to turn inflammation on and off in the body. So disorders due to this NF-kB activation are rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, other seronegative arthropathies like ankylosing spondylitis, psoriatic arthritis, and juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. So this is this now is termed as the master switch of inflammation. So we need to something for this master switch now. So what happened? The activation of this NF-kB stimulates this the stimulus, and is activated, and it is translocated into nucleus, and thereby it releases the pro-inflammatory cytokines, and these release of inflammatory mediators will cause synovitis, inflammation, proliferation of the synovitis, pannus formation, and it acts on the cartilage, chondrocytes, causing cartilage destruction, and on bone also it causes osteoporosis, osteoclastogenesis and bone erosion. You got erosive arthritis, also otherwise called erosive arthritis. So this NF-kB plays a crucial role in inflammatory and immune responses through the regulation of genes encoding pro-inflammatory cytokines and inducible changes. So there is now we have to find out an innovative option for management of arthritis, that is the nuclear factor kappa B inhibitor. That is the topic of today. This is the curcumin. I was told it's nothing but turmeric powder. It is a biologically active phytochemical compound obtained from rhizomes of Curcuma longa, possesses diverse properties: anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and anti-proliferative, anti-angiogenic. So more than 65 clinical trials with more than 1,000 patients completed now. There are another more than 35 ongoing trials are going on now. So this is a curcumin. This is the kappa inhibitor. It controls this NF-κB. And how it controls? It prevents activation of NF-κB by inhibiting IKB kinase, and then prevents translocation to it. It stops this NF-κB entering to nucleus also, and prevents release of inflammatory mediators. That's how it regulates the inflammation by controlling this NF-κB. So what is the evidence available now? The role in RA and OA. There are many studies, comparative studies of curcumin with diclofenac combination, and it is known to reduce this inflammation. And another study where the 18 patients with RA were treated with only curcumin for 2 weeks. Curcumin improved joint swelling, morning stiffness and walking time. And curcumin is very well tolerated with better GI tolerability. And in OA also, about 820 OA patients attending outpatient were treated with curcumin 6 months. Results: curcumin therapy provided significant improvement in pain, improved joint flexibility, better quality of life. 50% of patients were able to discontinue use of NSAIDs and NRs. This is the point which has to be taken. Curcumin is not an alternative, but it reduces the doses of NSAIDs and also has a duration also. And it is very well tolerated. And also it reduces the need for NSAIDs in OA. And another with ibuprofen also, it has been studied, and is also significant decrease in OMAC pain, stiffness, functional score from baseline in both groups. And curcumin was found as effective as ibuprofen. Lower incidence of GI adverse events in curcumin group, and it is effective as NSAIDs but has better GI tolerability. And again in OA monotherapy, 100 patients were treated for 8 months. Results: significant decrease in the serum inflammatory biomarkers, and 50% decrease in the OMAC score, 3-fold increase in the treadmill walking performance. In patients already in NSAIDs and NR6, co-administration of curcumin was associated with decrease in need for NSAIDs, marked reduction in side effects. So curcumin is effective and safe for the long-term management of OA. And again, combination of curcumin and diclofenac with in OA, again 88 patients were tried. And as compared to diclofenac monotherapy, combination of curcumin with diclofenac was associated with greater pain relief, better improvement in knee injury and osteoarthritis outcome scores. Curcumin, when combined with NSAIDs, provided additional benefits. And when given with celecoxib also, it enhances action of celecoxib and COX-2, decreases the need for celecoxib. And curcumin, when given steroids, also additive anti-inflammatory action through inhibition of inflammatory cytokines, significant improvement in the joint swelling, and reduction in side effects due to steroids. Curcumin, when administered with methotrexate, also provides synergistic anti-arthritic action, may help to reduce the dose of methotrexate. You cannot dispense with methotrexate, but it will reduce the dose of methotrexate. That reduces the risk of hepatotoxicity, very common with methotrexate, and hematological toxicities. And safety is generally recognized safe by the US FDA. No noticeable adverse events were observed with a dose up to 8 grams daily for 3 months. Unlike NSAIDs, free from adverse effects on the kidney, liver, and CVS, even after long-term use. Occasional patients may complain of mild transient nausea or diarrhea. So unlike NSAIDs, steroids, and DMARDs, curcumin is very well tolerated. Now this introducing a novel form. It is a raw form has its limitations, poorly water soluble, polyphenolic compound, poorly absorbed from GI tract, undetectable in plasma, doesn't reach systemic organs and tissues. The clinical trials carried out with the conventional curcumin have used high dosages up to 12 grams per day. A few studies have not shown positive results, poor GI tolerability with the conventional curcumin. So there is a need for bioavailable, effective and well-tolerated curcumin formulation. So this bioenhanced with the SME-DDS technology, that is self-micro-emulsifying drug delivery system, has been developed. This technology provides nano-sized hydrophilic droplets of curcumin, improved absorption and better tissue penetration. And this is the pharmacokinetic study. It shows the higher bioavailability. And the exact dose may vary from patient to patient depending upon disease severity, degree of inflammation and patient response. Majority of patients with mild to moderate inflammation usually respond to 100 to 200 milligrams per day. If required, one can increase dose up to 400 milligrams per day. And this bioenhancer curriculum, the summary in brief, it inhibits the master switch of inflammation, that is the NF-κB, decreases release of inflammatory prostaglandins and cytokines. Monotherapy found to be effective and safe in treatment of RA and OA. Efficacy at par with NSAIDs but with better GA tolerability. Can be used along with NSAIDs, steroids, provides additive or synergistic action, helps in dosage reduction. This mainly, that's what the point to be noted. Can be used along with methotrexate, and it also helps in reduce the risk of hepatotoxicity. Unlike biological agents, can be given orally, is safe and well tolerated. The suitable option for monotherapy as well as combination therapy. So, bioenhanced curriculum is an attractive option for the management of RA and OA, either as monotherapy or combination therapy. Particularly useful in option following groups of patients: intolerant to NSAIDs, steroids and DMRDs, compromised renal function, hepatic dysfunction, CV disorders and hypertension. Very good alternative for when you have these complications. Effective and safe and well tolerated treatment option. And let's make the life pain-free. And once again, thank IM ICON for giving the opportunity. Thank you very much. Thank you.